Allez, bonjour. Donc aujourd'hui c'est Vampyr. Donc la suite, on en était au chapitre 4 et on venait de rentrer dans le club Ascalon. Et moi qui m'attendais à un club assez raffiné, élégant, bah c'est un peu une autre ambiance. Bon, enfin ça n'empêchera pas de piller l'endroit. Monsieur, déjà qui êtes-vous? Merci.
There has been quite a battle here.
Alors, Lord de Machin, il est en haut. Ok.
I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Oui, mais c'est pas une raison. Allez, y a rien à piller. Une porte qui s'ouvre, Lord Machin il m'attend à l'étage, donc ça peut attendre. Ah, c'est ça la sortie, d'accord. Okay. Dague de qualité, hein, fais voir. 10 en absorption de sang. Et moi j'ai quoi là Alors moi j'ai 12, mais elle est... Elle est améliorée. Hein. Ah, mais il me faut une dague usée et ensuite une dague... Ah, d'accord. Ah, quoique non, je peux déjà le choisir là en fait. Ah, donc c'est peut-être mieux ça. Absorbe 2,5 points de sang. Ouais, endurance 12, endurance 15, ah ouais. Bon, je vais garder ce que j'ai. Oh, du shit. Dommage par contre que je puisse pas revendre les armes que j'utilise pas. Ah, la clé du sous-sol.
Good evening.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bansher was no match for him.
Here, here, here.
Ils ont pas l'air de m'en vouloir.
Come forward, young Ekon, for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my lord. Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
Elle s'est avérée utile. Voilà. Elle n'est pas dénuée d'intérêt. Je l'admire, ça fait un peu trop. J'ai peur en fait de lui dire ouais, je suis pas assez proche d'elle. J'ai peur que ça se fasse utiliser contre moi. Mais ça fait vraiment pédant quoi. Bon, c'est une amie proche.
She's a close friend, and I'm honored that she feels the same about me.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Ascalon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End? Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed. But first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon, who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
No, I haven't.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours, sent to cleanse the East End of all skulls. Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
Voilà. Il a pu disposer.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
William Marshall founded the Ascalon Club.
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members. And I do appreciate obedience.
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country.
Oh merde, c'est l'heure du bisutage. Je vais devoir courir à poil sous la nuit, sous la pluie.
Members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall. Speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation.
Est-ce que c'est comme le stylo d'ombrage?
Delightful. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
Ok. Ouais, je suis dans le club.
I personally went patrolling last night in the West End.
Y a rien à piquer ici.
This is an outrage. We shall chase these intruders down.
I was
Good
chased by a
evening, Dr.
gigantic
Reed.
falcon.
How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
It's quite unsettling.
Ah, c'est lui Dawson.
As a doctor,
Enfin,
I am more used to seeing
Aliosium.
the observer
C'est quoi son nom?
than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Aloysius. Ouais, on va l'appeler Dawson.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reed.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
Is not the nature of this club a secret shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reed, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
What do you know about the Guard of Prewin?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reed.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Not if we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear. A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
Ok, papy. Radical. Je peux pas leur parler, messieurs. Non plus. Bon.
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago. Well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
You were spying on me?
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod, all muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed, ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Vous y gagnâtes. Oh putain. Je savais même pas que ça existait ça comme verbe.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied skulls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Priwen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
I have met peaceful and wise Skulls. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Skulls are hideous, shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Ok. Vos citoyens peuvent être tués.
How is your investigation?
I have a...
All right.
What can you tell me about the Great Hunt?
It's a major concern, and I'm convinced we'll only get a satisfactory conclusion by putting an end to the epidemic.
I have already met Geoffrey McCullum. I am certain he will persist until he has killed every last vampire.
The Guard's current successful recruitment campaign is driven by the ravenous behavior of the Skulls.
I see. So without the epidemic creating Skulls, the Guard could not convince anybody of our presence.
Exactly. Once we've put the epidemic behind us, we need only wait until the Guard grows old and weak. Time will once again become our ally.
What about the risk of a full-scale attack here? Geoffrey McCullum is a daring leader.
That is exactly why so many of our number have left the country until things improve. But not me. I founded this club. I'll die defending it.
You made me swear on the blood of William Marshall during my initiation ceremony. Why was that?
William Marshall was the most glorious knight who ever lived. He served 5 kings, and was a living example of probity for all. And he was my maker.
William Marshall was a vampire? Is this some sort of joke? Wait. Could he be my maker?
That would be joyful news, for it would mean he still walks among us. But alas, the great knight has left this world for good.
Why is his blood so sacred to the Ascalon Club?
He was simply the greatest defender of the realm we have ever known. I fought by his side at the Battle of Preston, and he made me his progeny following the fight.
May I ask you about the mortal who attended my initiation? Mr. Aloysius Dawson.
A member of the club does not normally ask questions about other members. We trust each other mutually.
So he really is a member then?
Indeed. Only the most eminent members are allowed to attend such ceremonies. Even if I admit some of us fled during the first hours of the Great Hunt.
But Mr. Dawson is mortal. Are you not afraid he might reveal who you are? Especially to your enemies.
Aloysius Dawson is a man of his word, as are all of us. This is the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. We do not grant access to the unworthy.
Goodbye.
Godspeed.
Ok. Interroger les citoyens du quartier sur les sources d'infection. Ok.
I'm sure you have more important things to do than talking with an old man like myself.
Oh là là, ce lustre. Enfin non, c'est... Oui, c'est un lustre. Et du coup, on pose pas de questions sur... non, ça. D'accord.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no. Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reed. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in
Mais
this
c'est pas
part
drôle.
of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Econs. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
Bientôt tu m'appelleras papa. On peut lui demander ça.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reed?
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night, since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Are you a suffragette, then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reed. And please, don't tell my mother.
Ah là là. Alors.
Tell me about your adoption.
Bon, bah ça nous fera une nouvelle quête.
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed? Or you?
Perhaps it's wise for a mortal never to totally trust a vampire. Your mother herself told me that we Ekon are creatures of deception. Maybe it's because we seem so alive.
That may be true for a naive girl, but I have the best teacher when it comes to getting rid of an insistent immortal.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reed.
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire. Tell me more about it.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us, despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you?
No. Whoever I was when I was born, I am now Charlotte Ashbury. It hurts as much as it makes me proud to know that's the name my mother will read on my tombstone.
Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I. She is wise, and we should not ignore her advice when we disagree with it.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with eternity.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Ouais, j'avoue, ça doit être bizarre. Ça c'est l'enfant 1, ça c'est l'enfant 2, ça c'est l'enfant 3, ça c'est l'enfant 4.
Why do you still hope to become a vampire in spite of your mother's refusal?
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of that.
You're obviously a clever woman with a good education and a brilliant future. But have you thought about the price you'd have to pay? The loneliness, the necessary masquerade.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one's side.
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life, since you've obviously given it a lot of thought?
I won't give up. You have no idea how determined I am, sir. I may contract a deadly disease. I may throw myself under a carriage, just to be saved by her sweet kiss.
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part of it is, I know you speak the truth.
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself into your arms.
Non. Non.
Never. That would be betraying your mother's trust. she would never forgive us.
For sure. But look on the bright side. We would have eternity to reconcile.
Or an eternity to run away from your mother's mighty wrath. Quite a terrifying idea, don't you think?
Yes. I think it's wiser to let go of that part of the plan.
Goodbye.
She's been...
Avant qu'elle me saute dessus. Alors, par contre, là, non, pas ça. La mission là qu'elle m'a donnée avec sa pote. Là, je suis... Ah, là, c'est West End, le dernier quartier. Ok. Donc, le pilier, c'est Dawson. Et là, j'en ai rencontré qu'une. Hop. Du coup, sur la carte, c'est où? C'est là. Bon, ça va, c'est pas très loin. Alors, du coup, là, il y a un refuge. Oh ouais, mais alors attends, si je me souviens bien, le refuge c'était un peu un plan cul. On doit partir par là. Clarence Crossley. Ok. Ah merde. Est-ce qu'il y a un accès? J'aimerais bien... Apparemment c'est par là. Ah, apparemment il y a quelqu'un ici.
You give me no other choice, Clarence. Yes, my love, it's a new tea I bought. Not too bitter for your taste, I hope. Drink your tea, my love. Drink it to the last drop. And shut your damn trap for good.
Oula. Ah.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Jonathan, is that you? I did not know you were back in London. Oh, my dear Johnny, I'm so sorry for your loss. Mary was such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Venus. May I come in?
I was going to bed, actually.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. But you are always welcome here. But at this hour of night?
Avant que tu tues quelqu'un, toi.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
Bon, en compensation, je pille ta maison. Alors, Vénus.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
The McPhersons. I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan, please accept my condolences for your sister.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Why are you poisoning your husband?
He has spent a fortune printing his bloody papers. I can't stand this nightmare anymore. We are the butt of everyone's jokes since he returned.
If you're so frustrated by Clarence's behavior, why don't you just leave him?
I have already lost the best years of my life because of him. I will not jeopardize my future for some lunatic. He goes, and I inherit what's left.
I have to tell Clarence the truth about all this.
He will never believe you.
I know how to be persuasive, Venus.
Do as you wish. I don't care. I am not afraid of his reaction anyway. Honestly, he's so lost in madness that any change will be a relief.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
Ok, bon. Elle est sympa, mis à part le fait qu'elle veut buter son mari. Enfin.
It's locked.
Ah, je peux aller là-haut.
No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good sign. No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in. Blood. I should follow the trail.
Mon cher Jacques, j'ai tellement hâte de vous revoir. Est-ce que ce sera ce soir ou bien demain? Je ne peux plus attendre. Depuis notre baiser sur ce pont sous une lune illuminant le ciel nocturne, je meurs d'envie de sentir à nouveau vos crocs sur mes lèvres. Oh mon cher démon, que la douleur de votre douce morsure sur mon cou est jouissive. Pendant une seconde qui m'a semblé une éternité, j'ai bien cru que vous alliez me tuer, là sur ce pont au milieu de la nuit. Mais non mon cher Jacques, vous êtes resté le fiancé attentionné que je connaissais. Vous ne faisiez que me taquiner. Quand t'es jeune, tu fais des suçons, mais ça va un peu loin, là. J'ai tellement hâte de boire votre sang pour de bon cette fois et de me montrer à mon amie Charlotte en tant qu'immortelle. De la taquiner elle aussi au départ, comme vous m'avez appris à le faire avec l'immortelle. Puis je la transformerai en l'une des nôtres, elle aussi, et nous régnerons tous ensemble sur les nuits de Londres, et nettoierons ces rues de toutes ces âmes impures.
Emily wanted to become a vampire. Something must have gone wrong. Someone is responsible for this mess. But who?
Bah sûrement ce Jacques.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I could ask you the
Oh.
same question.
I'm the Marquis de Bois-Colombes.
Oh
and I strongly
l'accent
invite you
français.
to find your own game, sir.
I'm not here to sustain myself. I'm currently investigating the death of a young woman killed by a vampire.
A young woman killed by a vampire? Oh,
Oh,
you're
oh,
joking,
oh.
right? Oh, I do love the British sense of humor.
Ah putain.
And who exactly are you?
I am Jacques-Michel Guillaume Florimond, the Marquis de Bois-Colombes, at your service, my dear cousin.
Êtes-vous français? Non, je pense qu'il est suédois.
You're French, but your English is quite good.
I was born in France, sir, but I consider myself a traveler of this world. So many countries, so many tantalizing tastes.
Dear cousin, are we related?
We could be of the same blood, my dear. I tend to consider all Ekons as family, don't you?
What are you doing here?
I recently decided to visit London. I've always dreamed of visiting a city on the verge of collapse. Such a delicate, yet intense spectacle.
You take pleasure from others' misery.
I have been a totally depraved and immoral creature since the day I was reborn, sir. And probably before.
What do you plan to do here?
Take pleasure. Take pictures. Enjoy the show. Have fun. Believe me, I won't be the only foreign immortal who bought a ticket to the fair.
I followed the trail of blood from her room to here.
Oh, you're referring to that young woman. Yes, the meeting turned messy. I'm afraid I ruined my last redingote.
So you admit you murdered her?
I admit nothing, my good sir. I only regret the blood of that girl staining my clothes. Oh, blood can be so messy.
What happened?
She wanted to become one of us. Not the first time I have received such a proposal, but I must admit her direct approach tempted me.
And then what?
The body rejected my blood. It happens, you know, sometimes even with voluntary prey. At least her gurglings brought me some fun, until the artery burst.
Ouais, écoutez, ça... C'est un peu... C'est un peu de sa faute aussi, attends. Elle a voulu faire la maline, bah elle a fait la maline. Voilà. T'as pas passé le test, bah bien fait pour toi.
I believe you, sir. Emily's diary confirms your statement.
Oh, Emily was her name. Quite charming.
Il savait même pas son nom.
Well, mystery solved then.
Yes, I suppose so. You can go.
And so can you. Farewell, sir. May you enjoy the spectacle of this fallen city as much as I do.
Ok, bon bah, faudrait dire à Charlotte à propos de son ami. Du coup, non, je me cours encore. West End, ah, c'est de l'autre côté. Swansea voulait me parler, mais ça on s'en fout. Juste voir par là s'il y a des trucs. Il y a des gens, enfin, est-ce qu'il y a des gens à qui parler? Ça n'a pas l'air. Hein. Ouais, non, on va faire un backtrack.
Good evening, miss. Can I help you? I'm a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
I am Karina Billow. I don't need any doctor. The rats. Where are the rats?
Miss, you don't seem well at all. Are you afraid of rats? Has one bitten you?
No, it's me who bites them. Tasty, juicy, disgusting rats. I can't stop eating them. Help me, please. Help me to disobey the voice.
Ah, je peux la comprendre, hein, c'est bon les rats.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
Infection. Infection. The rats carry it, I heard. Many rats around that big house. Funny smell too. Dead flesh.
And where is this house?
West of the park. Not very far. A big house with no sound, no light, no life left.
What happened to you?
The rats. The answer
The rats.
Their little crunchy bones. Their juicy, tiny brains.
Miss Billow, please, try to concentrate. Why do you worry about rats so much?
The voice in my head. He forces me to do so. Drink their blood, he said. Eat their flesh.
Do you feel compelled to obey that voice, Miss Billow? Even if you're loath to submit to it?
Yes. Please. Help.
Tell me about the voice in your head. Who is it? Can you describe it? Is it someone you know? Someone you met?
Keep your mouth shut, he said. Don't ever speak about me, or I'll abandon you. Help me, please, Doctor.
What is the local news hereabouts, Miss Billow?
Shadows. Shadows hunting shadows. Whispers in the dark. Pestilence. Suffering. Death.
Tell me about yourself, Miss Billow. What do you do for a living?
I'm hungry. Need to eat. Have you got something for me? Blood, perhaps? Can you give me blood, Dr. Reed?
Don't you remember who you are, miss? What you did for work?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore. I'm so hungry.
I must go.
Ok.
Why are vampire hunters sniffing around here? I need to find out what they're after.
Déjà, aller voir Charlotte. Elle est où? Ah, il y a quelqu'un là-bas. Alors attends, je suis où là? Hop, Charlotte, elle est juste là.
Good evening.
And good.
I have found out what happened to your friend, Emily.
I can handle the truth. There's no need to hide the bloody details.
Your friend was planning to become a vampire. She thought she'd met an honest one and made a deal with him. Unfortunately, Emily did not survive the process.
My mother told me many times about the risks of being turned. I often suspected she exaggerated the danger to avoid me being tempted.
No, the risk is real. Have you any idea what a body has to endure? To become an organism entirely consumed by its need to process and recombine blood.
I should never have talked to Emily about vampires. I never thought she'd actually try it without me. Thank you, sir. Here, take this for your discretion.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
Pied de Charlotte, fais voir. Arme main gauche, niveau 5. Putain. Dégâts. Ah, ça assomme. Ouais, ça assomme, c'est tout. Ok. Ouais, des os pour ta pote. Ah, Clarence. Eh ben, allez.
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Can you help me?
Infection is everywhere these days. And if you ever go to the park near that swanky house,
Yes.
On en a déjà parlé, nanana. Ta femme veut te buter, hein.
Do you realize you are ruining your family, Clarence? Don't you see the risk here?
money isn't important. Not important when it is a matter of life and death. That is what my dear Venus cannot understand.
People will laugh at you, if they don't already. Think about your wife and your position. Think about your future.
I understand my wife's embarrassment, but gossips don't kill, vampires do. There'll be no future if people don't open their eyes.
I can't believe I'm telling you this, but if warning people is that important to you, why not choose a more efficient way to spend your money?
Don't you think I tried? I knocked at every door, went to every bank, I even tried to be published. No, Jonathan. This is a one-man war.
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. The epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
Clarence, why have you distributed leaflets about vampires all across the West End?
I have to warn everybody about them. They've killed thousands of people already. Unnoticed thanks to the epidemic. We are all in danger here.
Vampires in London? Come on, Clarence. Who's going to believe that?
I'm not mad, Jonathan. You have to believe me. I know they are real. They're all around us, even as we speak.
Clarence, I'm your friend, so I'm not going to judge you. But think about your wife, your family. You're in pain, and you need help. I can help you.
I don't need a doctor, Jonathan. I need my best friend to trust me.
Ah merde. Ah, c'est la première fois que j'ai eu un indice perdu. Bon, tant pis.
Tell me what you have discovered about vampires, Clarence.
They've always been here. And if you search for long enough, you realize others know about these devils too. I'm not alone.
Have you shared your research with anybody else?
No. But I've published my leaflets all across the city, hoping that someday someone will realize I'm printing the truth.
What do you mean you're not alone? Who have you met?
The Guard of Prewin. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, Ichabod Throckmorton. Those names always pop up when you dig deep enough.
Have you spoken with any of them?
No. With the quarantine, it's almost impossible to leave the West End. But as a doctor, maybe you could, Johnny.
Are you asking me to help you prove the existence of vampires, Clarence?
Yes, Johnny. Please, gather all the information you can find about vampires and bring it to me. You're the only friend I have left. I need you.
Ils sont parmi nous.
Venus is poisoning you, Clarence. She wants you dead.
So she really hates me that much now. My poor wife. I had no idea my research would drive her to such extremes.
I'm sorry, Clarence.
Why would you tell me that? First you returned from the dead, and now you tell me my wife is trying to murder me.
So you have no suspicions about her at all? Nothing in Venus's behavior has seemed odd since you returned.
Frankly, it's my behavior that's been odd. Ever since I got back from the war, she accuses me of being paranoid and delusional.
You're a stupid bastard, but you're my friend, Clarence. And I don't have many left. I don't want you to die. Not like that.
But I love her. I love my wife. Did I make her suffer that much? Have I become such a burden?
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
You need some...
Ok, bon, il m'a donné une nouvelle mission. Alors, il y avait un mec là-bas. Oulala. Niveau 29 en plus.
That building is under quarantine. Could this be what I'm looking for?
Alors, j'ai rencontré que eux. Du coup, la mission qu'il m'a donnée, elle est où? Trouver il est fertile. Ah, d'accord, c'est des articles à trouver. Est-ce qu'ils sont marqués sur la carte? Non. Ok. Ah, mais attends, j'ai pas mis suivre. Non plus. Bon, bah du coup, on va plus la suivre. Puis si jamais je les trouve. Elle, c'est bon déjà. Ouais, ce serait bien que je trouve un refuge. Par là. Ah putain. Ah pétasse. Ok, il y en a un, c'est bon. Putain de merde, arrête de me gerber dessus. Bah oui, mais putain. Ils étaient que deux et les deux autres, je sais pas d'où ils sortent. Ah bon, d'accord. Bon. J'utilise du soin, mais ça ne marche pas. Bon, je vais peut-être réussir à tuer ces deux mobs de merde. Voilà, tu vas arrêter de me faire chier, toi. Putain.
This is despicable.
Fusil à pompe remarquable. Ah. Oh putain, niveau 27. Putain, la connasse m'a bloqué. C'est bon. Putain. Mais... De quoi je suis mort, je ne sais pas. Ah, ça me casse les couilles. Putain. C'est ça qui m'énerve dans les combats, c'est que... Attends, qu'est-ce que tu veux faire? Plus j'ai plus de potions, enfin j'ai plus de sérum, génial. D'où il me touche, c'est pas grave. Je l'attaque, mais lui m'attaque aussi. Oh putain, ça me saoule. Eh ben allez, je vais devoir trouver un refuge, parce que je suis pas assez bon pour tuer ces deux connards. Putain. Oh là là. Ah, puis en plus, quand je vais aller au refuge, je vais devoir me retaper en plus après les ennemis. Bon, j'essaye quand même une dernière fois, parce que... Allez. Cette putain d'attaque, elle me saoule. Non, 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 dégage. que je voulais viser, mais c'est pas grave. Putain de sa mère, connard! Bon, ça va, il a pas repris énormément. Non, putain. Allez hop, s'il y en a un, c'est bon.
never seen such a radical mutation. Could it be a new stage in the disease's evolution?
Putain, j'ai eu du bol. Alors, mon chéri, je vous remercie pour le sublime parfum et les manteaux de fourrure. J'ai tellement hâte de sentir vos mains sur ma peau frémissante, car il n'y a que vous, mon héros, qui puisse me faire sentir aussi désiré. Je vous en prie, revenez-moi vite. Je meurs d'envie de presser à nouveau ma délicate poitrine contre votre buste viril. Oui, mon amour, mon chéri, revenez-moi vite. Je vous promets une nuit de passion débridée et éternelle. Je ne porte en ce moment même rien d'autre que vos derniers cadeaux. Je brûle d'envie de vous voir et je me languis de partager avec vous ces désirs insatiables.
So the husband had an affair with Doris Fletcher.
Allez, on se casse. Oh, t'es sérieux? Puis je peux pas me barrer forcément. Vous allez me foutre la paix. Là. Ok. Il faut vraiment que je trouve un refuge. Par où je pourrais sortir. Parce qu'il y a ce refuge là, mais ah, là il y a quelqu'un là.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reed.
Welcome, Dr. Reed. Welcome to my humble shop.
I may have a...
Qu'est-ce que tu vends? Alors... Morceau de poignée de qualité, ça m'intéresse. Fusil, ça peut être pas mal. Ça fait pas mal de dégâts. Ouais, on va voir. Parce que ça, diminue la consommation d'endurance, absorbe... ouais. Non, je vais garder ce que j'ai là, mais... Sans léger, ok. Alors.
It's locked, all right.
Good.
I'm in.
Not really. Wait.
Thank you.
They have a...
Ça, je l'ai déjà vu. Et puis je les ai vus enfin butés.
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Finding a good restaurant? Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Ok.
Goodbye.
Only the first step. Support the equality between men and women.
Alors apparemment il y a quelqu'un en haut. Manoir Reed. Ah! Mon cher Avery, comme je vous l'ai dit il y a plusieurs jours, je vais être obligé de quitter l'Angleterre, au moins pour quelques mois. Pendant mon absence, en tant que fils, ne reviens pas à Londres. Je voudrais vous confier notre maison. J'ai fait tout ce qu'il fallait pour augmenter votre salaire et m'assurer que vous le perceviez tant que vous remplissez votre tâche. Vous m'avez promis de protéger ma chère femme et de la servir du mieux que vous le pouviez. Je vous remercie du fond du cœur pour cela. Vous êtes la seule et unique personne en qui je puisse avoir confiance durant cette absence. Soyez assuré de mes sentiments les plus amicaux, Aubrey Reed. Donc on est chez la mère.
Good evening, Avery.
Mr. Jonathan? I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Oh, sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
I'm currently...
Not really. I think...
How is my mother?
Not well, I'm afraid, sir. Miss Reed is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police? What happened?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Has she received appropriate medical care?
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients infected by influenza.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France. She has always been very fond of France. I think leaving London could do her good.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment. Recently, she started going out at night without remembering it. I have to watch her carefully.
What is the situation in this part of town?
For a time, the West End seemed spared by the epidemic. But the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and I've never met my nephews. I'll stay, sir.
I'm sorry I could not be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But I am sorry, I simply could not attend.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir. So my task is not over.
You have served this family extremely well, Avery. Your support during these terrible times is much appreciated.
Then I will stay. All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
Do you really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you work hard to help the sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
I really don't know. I have always enjoyed seeing new horizons. Once the epidemic is over, it would be nice to leave London for a while.
I understand, Mr. Jonathan. But you have to realize that your mother needs you. Your next departure could break her heart.
Goodbye.
Of course.
Ok. Et du coup, on va aller voir Momo.
why not?
Mother, good evening.
Jonathan! Is it you? Where have you been, my prodigal son?
I'm right here, Mother. I'm finally home.
Yes, but this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now found. But where is your sister? Where is Mary?
Mary? She is gone, Mother.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return as you have? I miss my grandson so much. It's been days since their last visit.
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should it be any different with your sister?
But Mary really is dead, Mother.
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson? And my son-in-law? You're all gone. But you all still visit me from time to time.
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here, talking to you, trying not to cry.
Oh, it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of course you're dead, my darling boy. Just look at you, as pale as my Mary.
Tell me, Mother, how are you? All alone in this big house with only Avery to take care of you.
I'm sad most of the time. Sad that you have left me here alone. Sad that you don't tell me when you come or go.
I'm so sorry, Mother. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was coming home. I was home. London, the Thames, and then it happened.
What happened, Johnny?
I chose to stay away. I didn't want to put you in danger.
How can you put me in danger, my son? You're dead, just like everyone else. And the dead can't harm the living. Can they?
Mother, do you know what's been going on in this area?
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do, I tend to get lost.
What do you mean you get lost? I hope you don't go outside alone.
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes with me, but he leaves me there sometimes, and I have trouble finding the way back.
Have you returned to Whitechapel Cemetery since Mary's funeral?
I never want to go back to that awful place. Wait. I think I went back once. And you were there too. And Mary? No. That can't be true.
It was just a bad dream, Mother.
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the station, I don't know what would have happened.
Do you need anything, Mother? Can I help you?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty and dead eyes.
Are you working on a new painting?
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject, and my mind quickly drifts. It's the same thing when I try to write poetry.
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure you'd like her.
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she famous? Is she dead too?
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes, she is also dead.
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to welcome her into my home.
Do you think Avery is right? Do you think I should take better care of you?
I don't blame you, but you abandoned me, son. A mother should not survive her children. It's unbearable to know you're not here anymore.
I know I have failed you since I returned. I even watched you bury Mary from a distance. From now on, I will protect you. You have my word.
You don't have to apologize to me, Johnny. Do you think I did not notice how much you have changed?
Have I changed that much, Mother? Am I still your son?
You are still, and you'll always be. Despite your pale skin, your bloody eyes, and that echoing sadness in your voice.
Waouh, tu peux charmer la mère.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye. Jonathan, my dear, bring me my glasses. I feel like reading.
Ah, super, un refuge. Petite clé. La clé du bureau d'Aubry. Ok. Alors attends, le bureau, ça doit être là-bas.
Visiting Italy is a good idea this time of the year.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Ça devait être lui le père. Alors, est-ce que je peux améliorer mes armes? Il me faut encore 3 morceaux de poignée et 2 petits morceaux. Ok. De toute façon, j'ai rien gagné. Ok. Ensuite. Du coup. Non. Ah. Bon, je vais enfin pouvoir améliorer mon niveau. Autophagie niveau 3, ça j'ai dit que je m'en foutais. La lance. Alors, protéger une... Ah oui, alors ça. Ensuite, l'ulti elle est niveau 2. Ça vaut 1000. Niveau 5, niveau 4. Ça pareil, ça vaut 1000. Pour transporter jusqu'à 4 sérums, je peux même pas en faire 4. Là, ça vaut 2007. Là, ça vaudra 4005. Là, ça vaudra 4000. Là, ça vaut 1000. Alors il me reste encore pas mal de personnes à rencontrer. J'entends quelqu'un qui a besoin d'aide, mais je ne sais pas où. Ah oui, aussi, il y avait la mission... Ok, ça c'est là, et ça... C'est dans le coin.
How dare you interfere with my hunt?
Putain. J'ai fait esquiver, mais c'est pas grave.
This is my territory. You cannot win this.
Alors, ah, c'était une quête. Monsieur, vous êtes qui?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Do you need help, sir?
I think I'm fine. But what happened to my jailer? Be careful. He's as vicious as he is strong.
You don't have to worry about him anymore. What happened here?
I am Tadao Kimura. I was imprisoned by this lunatic for several days. I thought I was going to die here.
You're not going to die now, Mr. Kimura. If you hurry, you should be able to get home safely.
It seems that I owe you my life. You have all my gratitude, Dr. Reed, since it is the most precious thing I possess.
Ah d'accord, c'est tout.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura.
Il a rien à me dire?
Are you yes. Goodbye.
Bon. Du coup. Droit devant.
Easy does it, boys. We can deal with this vermin.
Ah, quoique c'est des humains.
Don't like that, do ya? Let's see how he likes a bit of fire.
Let's turn around if I were you. Gone, off you trot. It's one of them.
All of you bloody leeches need killing. You're perfect,
I cannot enter. It's locked.
Watch yourselves! There's one of them! Piece of shit!
Oh voilà.
More braille. I should bring this to Mason Swanborough.
Ouais, par contre, je trouve pas le resto là qui veut. Bon, de toute façon, il y avait.
This is not a place for you, sir. Over there! There's one of them vermin!
Alors ils me disent que c'est par là. Ce serait par là. Découvert un refuge, ok, cool, mais...
There has been a fight here. I can see a blood trail. Left by one of the antagonists, perhaps? What a mess. Something terrible happened here. But what?
Ouais, bon, je vois pas trop où ça peut être. Alors, est-ce que je peux faire... ça, je peux en faire une. Ça, je peux en faire une autre. Alors, 2 et ça. 2 aussi. Ok. J'ai pas le temps de soigner tout le monde, moi. Est-ce que dans les documents, si j'arrive à les retrouver. Première lettre. Pense à de hautes herbes et à de grands arbres par un dimanche ensoleillé. Hautes herbes et grands arbres. Ok. Oh putain.
You're mine.
peut attaquer un moment ou
You cannot win this.
Alors, je suis dans les égouts. Tant qu'à faire.
I have this thirst for blood. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Give me your blood.
Hein? Ah d'accord. Putain de merde. Super, il a recouvert toute sa vie. Putain, mais... Oh, nom de Dieu.
Foolish echo. Give me your blood. You shall learn to respect the laws of Ascalon.
Oh putain.
Give me your blood. Foolish echo.
Putain, le mec me met de droite, hein, alors que je... Enfin, ouais, c'est pas grave. Alors, je peux le battre, mais ça va être chiant. Ah, puis alors, nique les sérums. Hein. Ça, par contre, c'est dégueulasse. Il pourrait te redonner les sérums que tu fais. Bon, on va juste réessayer une fois, mais bon, ça va être encore plus dur. Putain, mais j'appuie sur B, hein. C'est un truc de fou.
Your blood is now mine. Die, newborn. Show me your power! Give me your power!
Salut Rimsad. Comment ça va? Ah, ça va, je suis assez concentré. Ah putain de merde, ah, fais chier, j'appuie sur B, putain. Ah, en plus je peux le battre, c'est n'importe quoi. Bon allez, je recommence une dernière fois. Mais... ah, ça me saoule. En plus j'ai plus de sérum. Bon, j'en avais qu'un la dernière fois. Attends, il est où? Ah, il est là. Putain, j'étais super bien parti, fais chier. Putain, mais le mec il te met 3 droites, c'est bon, t'es mort. Tiens, ouf.
Kneel, traitor!
Ouh, attention. Ah, tiens. Ah putain, merde, ça a pas marché. Oh putain.
I will crush you!
Ouf. Ouh là là. Non. Bon, il est un peu moins de la midlife là.
No one can hide from Ascalon.
Ah putain. Ah, c'est bon. Là, je vais me soigner avec le sang que je récupère.
You shall learn to resist.
Putain de... Putain, non allez c'est bon, c'est des conneries. C'est n'importe quoi. Ouais, c'est bon. Je sais même pas pourquoi je l'affronte en plus. Je perds mon temps sur des conneries. Ah, je me démerdais bien et puis comme d'habitude, j'ai fait de la merde. Allez, on se casse. Tout ça parce que j'essaie de faire une 4 secondaire de merde. C'est même pas par là que je devais passer en plus. Allez, on se casse. Ah non, c'est pas facile du tout. Non, mais c'est surtout que le mec, en gros, il met 3 coups de poing dans la gueule, je suis mort. Et quand tu meurs et que tu... Oh non, putain, sans déconner. Bon, alors, testament du père, j'en ai plus rien à foutre. Ça, c'est des trucs à trouver. Restaurant de machin, j'arrive même pas à les trouver. On les emmerde. Ça, c'est hyper loin, donc on va faire les quêtes principales, et puis c'est tout. Ah non, c'est pas... Ouais, non, donc ouais, déjà le mec te met 3 coups de poing dans la gueule, tu meurs, et puis surtout que bah tu utilises des sérums, tu meurs, bah tu les récupères pas. Voilà. Donc tu l'as dans le cul. Ah putain! Forcément, eux ils repop. Après, il était niveau 32, moi j'étais niveau 21. Allez, attaque-moi. Voilà. Mais c'était faisable, mais comme d'habitude, j'ai fait nimp et puis voilà. Bon, on va aller par là. Mais le pic de difficulté, c'est boring d'un coup. Hein. Alors. Alors ils me disent que c'est ici. Bon, j'ai pas envie de perdre mon temps. J'en avais marre.
Steady, boys. We've got one of them here.
Alors attends, je suis là. Plutôt passer par là-bas. Ensuite, il y a un petit chemin. Ma chérie, couvert du temps. Ok. C'est par là. Ah bon. Et voilà. Alors, ils me disent que c'est en hauteur.
This woman's body has multiple lacerations. They're deep, too. Whoever did this was driven by rage.
Alors, ça va être encore un boss, je le sens.
He had his tongue removed and his eyes gouged out. He was a victim of brutal torture.
Encore?
This one's neck is broken. He was young. Probably the son.
que j'avais nettoyé la deuxième source d'infection. C'était un couple qui eux aussi m'ont bien fait chier.
You killed your family.
They mocked my talent.
Ok. Et en plus vous me crachez dessus madame, vous êtes dégueulasse. Ouais, porte le masque, ouais, mais ça n'empêche pas de me cracher à la gueule. Bon, elle a pas l'air très difficile. Ah putain, arrête de me cracher dessus. Sans foignir. Ah. Bon là, il n'y a plus de foi, il y a plus grand chose quoi. Allez, il reste plus grand chose. Voilà. Bon, elle, ça va, c'était facile. Là. Oh non, c'est bon. Chère Elsa, c'est avec une immense joie que je annonce par la présence de votre admission comme étudiante particulière au sein de mon école d'art dramatique. La petite scène que vous avez eu l'amabilité de jouer pour moi la semaine dernière m'a convaincu que vous avez ce qu'il faut pour devenir une vraie comédienne de l'esprit, de l'allure et du courage. En tant qu'étudiante particulière, vous recevrez une formation et un enseignement directement auprès de moi. Lors de ces sessions intensives, vous serez amené à vivre au sein même de l'établissement. Car je crois fermement qu'une immersion totale est le meilleur moyen de révéler tout le potentiel de mes élèves. Pensez donc à apporter dans vos bagages vos vêtements de nuit et tout ce dont vous pourriez avoir besoin pour passer une semaine dans mon école. Doris Fletcher.
This girl took lessons at the famous Doris Fletcher acting school.
Ok. Lady Hushbury, vous voulez me parler. Alors, ce qu'on peut faire... Est-ce qu'il y a un truc sur le... Alors, je suis là. Là, il y a peut-être un... On va un petit peu chercher le resto de machin. Là aussi. Ça, c'est trouver des documents. Donc. Voilà, ça, j'en ai plus rien à faire. Et ça... Ça, pareil, j'en ai plus rien à faire. Donc, on va prendre ça. Et je vais sortir par là.
Doris Fletcher seems to be the missing link here. It can't just be a coincidence. I should go to her acting school.
Alors apparemment ici il y aurait peut-être un restaurant pour machin. Oh, oh, oh. Ça n'a pas du tout marché pour une raison obscure. Voilà, parce que alors lui, il peut être assez pénible. Hop. Alors, restaurant exceptionnel. Dans le quartier. Ici.
I'm sure Kaloon Russell has no interest in such a conventional menu.
Ok, bon ici ça l'intéresserait pas. Bon, allez on se casse. Et il y a un marchand au bout de la rue. Juste là. Ah bah c'est lui. Morceau de poignée de qualité. Voilà. Ok, ça c'est bon. Ensuite, par là-bas. Donc on va aller voir Lady Ashbury. Il n'y a pas d'autres personnes. Parce qu'il me manque des gens à rencontrer. Ah, c'est peut-être plus tard. Non, c'est encore plus loin. Elle est où? Elle doit être en haut. Elle est là.
Good evening, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm still investigating from inside the Ascalon Club. Can we talk?
Of course, my dear.
How is your investigation going?
I have decided to explore beyond the dictates of reason.
What do you mean?
You may on occasion find this house closed when you visit me. If so, it is because I have gone undercover. Sort of.
Who are you going to surveil? I hope you're not considering spying on McCullum or the guard of Prewan.
No. I intend to ask a few questions in parts of town I rarely venture into. Dirty places where a delicate lady like myself should never be seen.
When will you return?
As soon as possible. And I don't intend to stay away for long.
There are many paintings adorning the walls here.
Yes?
Did you paint them?
No, my dear. But some of them. I have had a long time to learn from the best. I'm currently working on what could be my greatest masterpiece.
What is this masterpiece?
Your portrait, my dear Jonathan. It will be my gift to you, if I ever have time to finish it.
Have you met any famous painters?
Are you trying to divine my age by cross-checking historical dates, my dear? That's a devious parlor trick.
Well, Elizabeth, I tried my best. Don't I deserve some reward at least?
Well, if you must know, I even posed for the greats. Now that you know it, you may recognize me when visiting museums.
Est-ce que t'étais dans le fond quand on n'a pas la scène de Jésus?
I have investigated new sources of infection, and I may have found a new type of skull. One suffering from heavy mutations that is extremely contagious.
Scowls come in various forms, you know. They are simply degenerate versions of their makers.
I believe these families are different, and I'm currently pursuing a lead. I know I can find the true source of contagion by finding who created these creatures.
That would be great news. Be very careful, my dear, when dealing with such creatures.
On a porté ma chambre. Ah bah, on y est allé tout à l'heure chez lui. Il y a plus dégoûtant. Hein. Il vit dans le grand manoir. Enfin, le manoir de la famille, mais ça reste le manoir, avec la chambre et tout. T'inquiète pas. Hein. Ou alors c'est dégoûtant, mais dans un autre sens. Avec sa mère qui perd la boule. Bon, alors du coup, lui parler, ça va pas servir à grand chose, mais c'est pas grave. Bon, on peut faire le restaurant et après. Tu vois, à peine niveau 18 et je les démonte. Alors, est-ce qu'il y a un restaurant? Ah, restaurant.
I'm sure Kaloon Russell has no interest in such a conventional menu.
Bon bah comme par hasard ça va être le resto que je trouvais pas, mais c'est pas grave. Alors. Il y a un refuge aussi? Non, il n'y en a pas forcément. Ah oui, alors... non. Ah, la lumière de Jésus. J'ai failli crever. Alors, trouver un accès pour entrer dans le théâtre. Ah, donc le théâtre, il est là. Forcément, c'est fermé. Hein? Ah.
I cannot enter.
On va essayer de... On va essayer de l'autre côté.
It's locked, all right.
Il doit y avoir un accès quand même. Lui, on va le tuer, il peut. C'est fermé. Ah, je l'avais pas vu. Aïe, putain. Je dois aller où là?
There's an open window on the second floor. I should be able to get in through that.
Voilà.
Woe to you, nations of hypocrites. For in front of you stands the tall queen. You
Can that be Doris Fletcher's voice? Where does it come from?
Bah. Ah non, c'est le container. Je me suis dit, putain, c'est qui? J'avais oublié ça qui faisait ça, alors marrant. Oula. On va leur faire un petit peu de rénovation ici.
I have this thirst for blood.
Ok, elle est en bas. Ok. Je croyais avoir beaucoup de vie, non.
Woe to you, nations of
Allez, on se retape tout.
For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her soil.
Ouais, les décors ils sont vraiment jolis, hein. Franchement là-dessus. Ah merde. Si je pouvais le mettre sur elle. Elle te saute dessus, tu sais même pas où elle est. Alors je vais éviter de rester dans son truc avant de crever encore une fois comme une merde. Ok, en fait il y avait que dalle. Alors elle est plus le boss, hein, je veux pas dire.
For in front of you stands the tall queen. You can but lower your head, fit only to smirk at her soiled feet. Alas, poor Doris, I knew her well, and many can testify to her kindness and beauty, for now she hides in shadow, ugly as sin. But when you
This is despicable.
Who are you? You who dared enter my realm. Are you here to worship or mock me?
I'm here to put an end to the vampire epidemic, Miss Fletcher.
Ah. But Doris Fletcher is no more. She was consumed by this putrid flesh that now enshrouds her.
You feel anger for what happened to you, but I can help you. I'm a doctor, Miss Fletcher.
Doris Fletcher is no more. All that remains are the dreams of the queen she was, and the queen she'll be. Until then, all shall die, for that was her final wish. My blood, my children, my beloved, die for the love of me.
Ok.
I smell your fear. Come to me, my servant.
Alors ça, j'aurais fait qu'elle déconne son test et que tu rentres dans le lieu, je repense donc immédiatement que c'est un futur boss. Bah non, c'est juste un note de base qui répète une pièce de théâtre. Alors, voilà. Alors c'est pas lui que je voulais viser. Ah.
I smell your fear.
Ah, attention. Hop là.
I smell you. Hear and obey for your your hand is shaking. Touché.
Voulez-vous toucher avec moi ce soir? Oula.
Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate?
Oula, c'est quoi ça? Mais putain, mais... Mais et d'où tu sors, toi? Dégage, putain. Fous-moi la paix.
I smell your fear.
Ce qu'il y a, c'est que j'aimerais attaquer elle. Allez hop. Ah putain. Mais putain de... J'appuie sur B. Ah mais ça me saoule, j'appuie sur B, putain. Pourquoi il esquive pas? Ah, son attaque de la grosse main, ça va être une chianterie. Je sais pas si c'est un bombe, c'est pas grave. Allez, on y retourne. Oh, super. Aïe.
Your hand is shaking. Come to me, my servants. Avenge me! Woe unto thee, son of Babylon! On guard! Hear and obey, for your queen commands you. Attack! Touché, sir. I smell you. My blade shall pierce your villainous heart. Dark Fritz. Your hand is shaking. On guard. I summon thee, my children of the night. Bite, maim, spit, kill!
Je sais pas si je l'ai touché elle, mais...
You killed my father. Touché, sir. Behold, Kinslayer, the disgrace of sheep.
Aïe.
Will she be the queen again once they all share her fate? My children, my beloved, die for the love of me. Your blood will be mine.
Enfin, on dirait une attaque de Resident Evil, son truc du bras là. Ah putain, j'étais en train d'attaquer forcément. Ah putain. Putain mais... Non mais genre, putain. En plus, j'arrive même pas à l'attaquer en fait. Forcément, putain.
Your blood will be mine.
Oh mais putain, laisse-moi me bouger.
My children, my beloved, die for the love of me.
Alors je sais pas comment j'ai fait, j'ai survécu à cette attaque. Allez, tiens, bouffe. Merde, putain, j'ai caché une attaque. Ah, super, ils sont 3 maintenant. Non. Ah super, elle aussi maintenant elle crache. Alors j'ai l'ulti. Voilà, 2 en moins.
My children, my beloved, die for the love of me.
Ouh là là, j'ai failli me coincer tout seul. Putain de... Ah, oh, pétasse. Hop, et là, je me... Ah putain. Ah. Non mais... Hop là. Ah putain, dégage. Ah. Oh mais ils sont 4. Ah, salope, putain de merde. Ah merde. Oh putain, j'ai cru que j'allais perdre à la fin.
And I did not come to kill you, Miss Fletcher.
Will you spare me then? Say
la tension. Putain. Oh, j'aurais pété un câble.
Beat a little faster now. You fancy me then, Doctor?
Merci pour le GG, hein, parce que alors là.
My dead heart will beat for only one.
Ah! Is she pretty? Is she sweet and tender?
To me, yes.
Ah! I hate her already.
I know. And this is partly why you must be destroyed.
But you just said...
That I did not come here to kill you, yes. But I realize now the threat you embody must be stopped.
Will I be remembered? Will you?
You were Doris Fletcher. The greatest actress of her generation. No one can take that from you.
Thank you. And farewell. Ah!
C'est une femme qui a le bras long, ouais, c'est clair. Oh mon Dieu.
Farewell, Doris.
Bravo! So dramatic. I love it.
McCullum.
How strange I seem to find you whenever I'm inquiring about that Skal infestation.
I mean you no harm.
I'm not here for you. But once I put all the pieces of the puzzle together, I'm sure we'll have a little chat. You and me.
Stay away from me, McCullum. You and all your war dogs.
That I can't guarantee, Dr. Reed. But I'll let you go. For now.
I should probably leave the theater right now.
Allez, on se barre. Par là.
The West End should be safe now. But London is not. It would be wise to benefit from the Ascalon's protection while I continue my research during the Great Hunt.
Oh putain, la fin elle était tendax. Mais bon. J'aime jouer le drama.
People want me dead. I need to leave now. So Doris just needed to be close to her audience to infect them. Contagion through skin.
Ah, foutez-moi la paix. Attends, oui je sais, je m'en fous. La carte. Je dois aller là-bas. Attends. Mais non, mais... je suis où là? Je suis là, donc tac tac tac, et la prochaine à gauche. Par là. Ouais. Bah pas si toutes les actrices sont comme ça. Ah mais il y avait un refuge, mais alors celui-là pour le choper c'est chaud. Bon, j'ai le temps d'aller voir Lord Grave. Redgrave, pardon. Et ils ont toujours pas nettoyé les lieux. Hein. Enfin. Ah bah tiens.
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, Isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Ouais, il y a eu un peu rapprochement, ouais.
I must admit the guard of Prewen impressed me.
Il n'y a pas eu bisous ni rien, mais on est allé chez elle et tout.
We repelled the intruders for now. But how long before they return? Have you heard the rumors of some horned vampire?
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lancebearer. Please tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
Ouais, c'est classe, ouais. À part la pièce d'entrée qui mérite un petit nettoyage. Mais ouais, non, c'est très chic, c'est très club de gentleman.
But some questions remain.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Econ he deserves to be.
Oh, le vieux! Il veut que je transforme le vieux. Je me méfie de ce genre de club. Ah ouais, bah de toute façon, il nous a dit Lady Ashbury que voilà, il fallait pas leur faire confiance et tout, mais qu'on allait avoir besoin d'eux. Je suis moyen chaud.
I'm not sure I'm the best candidate for such a task.
I can hear the hesitation in your voice, Dr. Reed. I admire a man of principles. But in this matter, there is more at stake than your moral comfort.
It's not a moral question, Lord Redgrave. It's the responsibility of giving immortality to a man I barely know.
Nonsense. Aloysius has been a member of the Ascalon for years. This is but the fruition of a long-held plan.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Mais on n'est pas sûr que son corps réagisse bien.
Before I go, I have a few questions.
All right, I'm listening.
You invited Lady Ashbury. Wouldn't that be breaking one of your cardinal rules? No women allowed.
Not allowed as members, no. But considering the circumstances, I thought you'd like to have her here to witness your triumph.
So it's a temporary admittance, then?
Something of a bargain, considering the crisis we're currently facing.
Je préfère que vous m'envoyiez convertir de superbe jeune femme.
Why Aloysius Dawson?
Bah là ça fait bon bah je vais envoyer le petit jeune chez le vieux et puis chez lui et puis bah on chica waouh quoi.
Did he choose me?
No, I did. My decision is very recent, to say the least, but it is entirely mine.
Does he know I'm coming?
He can't wait to become your progeny, Dr. Reed. Especially now that you have shown how strong your lineage is through your sister.
How would you like me to proceed?
Don't worry. Aloysius has had many years to prepare himself. He has studied our kind for decades.
Bah tant qu'il est bien lubrifié, ça devrait bien se passer.
So shall I just let him drink my blood?
Yes. Aloysius will gratefully sup on your blood. His heart will slow, then stop.
Ah, je le mords pas. Ah, d'accord.
an immortal.
Is there any danger?
Our blood alters a mortal body so deeply that some don't survive the metamorphosis. They die for good. But Mr. Dawson has been preparing himself for a long time.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Ok. Alors avant de finir le stream, j'aimerais bien trouver un refuge.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson. To make him...
Et là t'as Jonathan qui fait ouais bah il y a un vieux qui va me sucer quoi, mais hein quoi. J'aurais rigolé si lui sort ça.
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Oh.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
Oh écoute, je t'aime bien, mais là, voilà, allez, salut. Moi je veux un refuge et arrêtez là. Ah, donc il peut faire que des scales. Il a le sang pourri. C'est un, comment on dit dans Harry Potter, c'est un sang de bourbe. Alors, par là. Putain, il n'y en a pas plus proche, et en plus je crois que celui-là il est chiant à choper. Ah quoi? Bah non, quoique attends, c'est chez moi, je suis con.
Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
Donc là tu vois c'est le manoir familial, donc on va aller dans la chambre. Oh non, il est bien dentil, Jonathan. Ouais bah apparemment il s'aime, il n'y a pas eu de bisous, c'est nul. Enfin après c'est très british, année 1900, donc beaucoup de retenue pour pas grand chose. Tac et tac. Oh, ça fait cher. « 60, 100, 140... » un sabre, vitesse d'attaque 10... 5. Alors, est-ce que je peux... Ah, ça y est, je peux l'améliorer enfin. Metal Gear plus solide. Le succès. Augmente les dégâts infligés de 10%, absorbe le sang. Bah ça, on va faire un dégât. Hop. Et ça, à la rigueur, ça va être le sang. Voilà. Petit manoir sans grande envergure. Oui, voilà, c'est sympathique, dirons-nous. Alors j'en ai 5, ça c'est par 2. Ça... Alors c'est quoi le mieux, d'avoir plein de petites potions ou d'avoir une grosse potion? Là de toute façon je peux en mettre que 2. Tac, 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 tac. Et j'ai 4500 points d'XP. Alors, autophagie, ça me fera 2007, donc la moitié. L'ulti, je suis niveau 3. Ah, de toute façon, je peux pas encore le faire. Ça et ça, je m'en fous. Peut-être améliorer la capacité sanguine. Parce que là, c'est 1000, 1005, ça me fera 2000. Ouais, je vais m'occuper de ça plutôt. Voilà. Alors, est-ce que j'ai encore un truc à 1000? Alors, soit c'est la jauge d'endurance. Et bah, allez hop, l'endurance. Voilà. Ouais, j'ai encore toutes ces personnes que j'ai pas rencontrées. Ou au pire, hein. De toute façon, je compte pas faire le jeu à 100%. Donc. Oh. Donc on est niveau 23. Et puis bah je vais m'arrêter là pour aujourd'hui. Donc la prochaine fois on va aller laisser un vieux nous sucer le sang. Je suis sûr que ça va partir en live. Mais bon, on verra bien. Et puis voilà. Et je pense qu'à partir de maintenant je vais focus la quête principale. Hein, parce que quête secondaire... Voilà. Ou alors au pire les quêtes secondaires je les ferai hors stream de mon côté, parce que j'ai l'impression que je perds beaucoup de temps à chercher les trucs, donc si entre deux streams j'ai plus d'XP et tout, c'est parce que j'aurais fait les quêtes secondaires de mon côté. De toute façon elles sont pas... Elles apportent rien à l'histoire, donc voilà, on verra bien. Du coup la suite, bah, c'est demain après-midi, hein, comme d'habitude, 3h, 3h30. Puis bah, d'ici là, je vous souhaite une bonne soirée. Et je vous dis à la prochaine. Des bisous.